passion. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. You can't go out, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Man, so tough, but man's keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. Right, guys, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, I'm please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
That is the real fastest 2 minutes in sports. And I'm telling you something right now that's growing on me because I've taken a lot of pride over the years, Stugotz, in the songs that this show produces by listeners, by talented people who love our show so much and make songs. And Juju, I need your help with something because I believe your music taste is better than most around here. I think that our show intro song is great. I think that it makes us seem vastly cooler than we are.
Hell yeah.
That's the point, Dan.
But
yes.
you are not a sugarcoater. You would tell me if it was shit?
Yeah, I would tell you. I wouldn't bow my head one piece, and I like it. I'd be jamming. I'd be like, uh-oh, white girls tell me I'm awesome. Hey.
Now, did we make that? That's commercial. Like, that's just commercial-free. Like, that's as cool as you can find in that commercial-free
Have you heard the
website.
rest of our commercial-free catalog?
That's why I'm impressed.
I'd like to remind you all that yesterday we heard Jeremy Taché sing a New York, New York adaptation for
Yes.
Zach Wilson and Tommy DeVito.
As someone who is not in it, I can say, yes, everybody looks much cooler than they are.
Charlotte
That's mean.
and Amin will be leaving shortly because Oddball waits for no one. Oddball is every day. Well, it waits for Mondays. It does not appear on Mondays.
Yeah, it waits until Tuesday. But then after that, it waits for no one.
Starting on Tuesday.
Right after, before we get to the topic du jour, Stugotz, because as soon as Mike Ryan says that Giannis doesn't care about things enough, that he doesn't care about basketball enough.
He does that.
Giannis cares so much that he wants to fight over a game ball. But I want to know more about a Christmas song that has been produced by our listeners, Chris Cody. I am scared. I don't have confidence. The recent songs that the listeners have produced have been lacking, and I want in December for people to top this particular song. And I haven't heard this song. How good is it? Is it going to be easy to top or hard to top?
I think this one will be. This is a good starting point. I think we can top this one, but it is. I like it. It's catchy. It's not one of the classics. It's I want a hippopotamus for Christmas, and so someone heard that Christmas song, you know, Hippo. They thought of that song and they got inspired. That involves our show.
I want a Dan Le Batard for Christmas. Only a Dan Le Batard will do. No Stugotz, Billy or Roy. I want a Dan Le Batard to play with and enjoy. I want a Dan Le Batard for Christmas. Only a Dan Le Batard will do. No Mike Ryan, Lucy or Tony. I really like the Dan Le Batard. Only a Dan Le Batard really likes to do. Says Dan is a gluten-free human. I want a Dan Le Batard for Christmas. Only a Dan Le Batard will do. None of the Codys, not even Smetty. I really like Dan Le Batard. Only a Dan Le Batard really likes to do.
Thank you for that. Always moved when the people who listen to us decide to make a little bit of art. But I will say to the audience, if we cannot do better than that in December, I will disband Meadowlark Media.
Really?
Because Hippo, because, you know, it's a fat joke.
Yeah.
It is a fat joke. Before Amin and Charlotte run out of here, your thoughts on everything that happened with Giannis last night.
Wow. Where to begin, Dan? There's so much that happened. Let's start in the middle of the game, right? Giannis goes up, and he gets fouled by Aaron Nesmith, who tries to wrap him up to stop him from completing the and one, but unfortunately tackles him to the ground. Bobby Portis is animated. Some shoving happens. And then you've got what's happening on the bench where noted Antetokounmpo brother Thanasis has to be held back. And take a look right there. Look at him. Let go of me. Let go of me, man. Let go of me.
My brother.
That's my brother, man. That's my quarterback.
That's his job. I mean,
That is. He is employed to do that.
He's
And
just
Mr.
trying to
Gutz is
earn
The
totally
leg kick.
right.
The leg kick is my favorite. He goes,
And that's all you got?
well, I mean, I just think that's what Stugotz said, right? Like the idea that, like, hey, man, calm down. No, you calm down. This is why I'm here. If I'm not here for these moments, then why the hell am I here? He's got it. That's him earning his money.
yes, that was his moments. Correct.
It's kind of like Udonis with the Heat. Anytime any kind of kerfuffle happened, Udonis is like, this is my time.
It gets better because, here's the thing. In this very same game, Giannis breaks the franchise record for most points scored. Now, as Giannis is checking out and the crowd starts to give him a standing ovation, Thanasis checks in. He thinks the ovation is for him, so he smiles and he waves, and then he realizes, oh, wait a second, that wasn't that one for me.
He legitimately thought that that his brother scoring a 64th point to break a career record. Wait a minute. So Kareem never did that?
No, actually, the record was Michael Redd, 57 points.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So but why? Come on. You're telling me Giannis is that lacking in self-awareness?
That's a fine.
That
He's
is a fine.
Stugotz, yeah.
You think that he's that lacking in self-awareness?
Yes. Yes, look, this is a guy, he had to earn his keep, so he's like really animated from the bench. It's like when you didn't do the reading and you throw out like the most sort of generic comment, but you care a lot about it. Like that's what he did. And then he's like, oh my God, I crushed it when he comes into the game. He's like, they really like that generic comment. And then he's like, oh, it was my giant brother.
On that note, I once did a group project. This is in college, and it was a business class, and it was set in something like why like the stock market crashed in the 80s, right? And so we had our Thanasis was like, I said, oh, it'd be fun if we started it with like the year is 1987, or whatever year it was, and like the number one song in the country is this, and no one knew Black Friday was about to happen or whatever, right? Or Black Monday. So the kid's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, and he proceeds to come up with like 10 minutes of things that were happening in 1987 that has nothing to do with the project, but that was his contribution.
Honestly, a really strong move.
Indiana is so fun to watch, and it would be great if Milwaukee and Indiana had some sort of thing with each other.
For sure.
I actually do think that the best part of this is not that Giannis got upset about the game ball not being given to him. Sorry, that didn't happen yet. That was in 1987 when the number one. No, the best part of this is how much we're talking about the Pacers these days. The Pacers are right up there with teams that matter. They matter a lot right now, and I love that they're in the extracurricular stuff.
And you
too.
know why they matter, Stugotz?
Why?
The in-season tournament, baby.
Where they didn't get it done, huh? Right.
What's that honking sound?
IST.
IST. IST.
Why are you chanting?
I don't know.
They're-
It just
they're-
feels like something to chant. I like it.
Good
IST.
teammate.
They're chanting it.
I'm being a
at
good
you.
teammate. I don't care. Do it in the IST. I'm tired of the Pacers. Seriously. Who are the Pacers
Come on.
to keep a ball away from an NBA champion? I'm serious. This guy did it in the postseason. They did it in regular season game number 18. Give me a break.
All right, so at this point, we should explain to the audience what happened. So Giannis breaks the franchise record, right?
He's got to keep that ball.
After the game, he wants the game ball. At the same time, the Pacers have a tradition that when a player scores his first NBA points, he gets the game ball. So they grab the game ball to give it to their guy. Giannis is infuriated. He wants the ball. He runs, sprints down to the Pacers locker room. There he is. He's going to go get his damn ball. Then he comes back out. We got arguments here with Tyrese Halliburton and Chris Middleton. Damian Lillard's there. Lloyd Pierce, an assistant coach of the Pacers, is there. They're all trying to figure all this stuff out. Here's my favorite part. The Bucks had the game ball all along because when the game ended, you see one of their security personnel run and grab the ball and run off the court. Here's when it gets even better. So while the Pacers and the Bucks are all fighting over this one ball, even though there are two balls, by the way, the guy the Pacers wanted to give the ball to, these weren't his first career NBA points. Oh. He scored in the final of the IST.
IST. Okay, so just to recap, after that terrible Christmas song, you're telling me that what is being described as a kerfuffle but does not rise to that level. It does not. I saw it described in print as a scuffle, and I don't think it climbs that high either. You're telling me that the Bucks, already having possession of the ball in their organization, in a sport that I learned yesterday has 2 game balls. I did not know before yesterday that there were 2 game balls. I think of 1 game ball in basketball.
There's more than 2. There's a whole rack of these things.
Those aren't
what
game
are we
balls.
doing here,
That's
folks?
shoot around, though.
This is so stupid.
No, but official game balls.
No.
Chris. Right.
Okay, so Chris, Cody, I feel like I'm going to have to learn you about how game balls work.
Unbelievable.
Right?
What are you
The
talking
life
about?
of a ball. You get a brand new ball. The players don't touch the new balls. They give those to like the rookies and the summer league people. They've got to play with those, break them in. And then when they're broken in, we get to training camp. Those are the balls that those rookies and young players have to play with. And then over years, as that ball becomes more worn, it might one day get to game ball status.
It's like a fine wine.
It's like becoming the director of the FBI. Like not every police officer is the director of the FBI.
Juju, please put it on the poll. Did you learn last night that there are 2 game balls in basketball? But just to recap, you're telling me then that Giannis and everyone ran through a hallway. The ball is in the possession of their organization behind them. In a fury and rage, Giannis, with an army behind him, runs to go get a game ball that they already have. That's what you're telling me.
Pretty much. And in the process, also apparently elbowed Chad Buchanan, who's the GM of the Pacers, in the ribs. Chad Buchanan's on the IR now. We don't know what the end of this is going to be. Get ready. Get well, Chad.
Get out of here. Go see if Lucy and Jessica.
Line shift.
Lucy and Jessica are anywhere around
An
here.
NHL
Got
coach.
to go to Billy Donovan's press conference.
Line change.
Get out of here.
Shit.
Line change.
Roy is upset.
Unbelievable.
Line shift? No? Oh, yeah, shift.
Do I dare Roy to send, in the present condition that he is in, Chris Cody to the penalty box? He is acting as executive producer today. He can get a little. I'm not going to say overwhelmed because that has not yet happened. He enjoys the.
I'm feeling it today, baby.
He enjoys the
He's
role.
got this, Dan. Yeah. I mean,
But
we had a pregame
Should we play
talk.
the Christmas song again?
There
Or
is
no? Bad judgment?
There is a lot of plate spinning that goes on in his seat right now, and I'm scared to send him to the penalty box because then it would leave us without an executive producer in the seat. Juju has put together for us today, and I don't know, Juju, I have not heard this. How do you feel about the Wake and Take that's going to be making its return later in the show today? We are bringing back, Meadowlark is getting stronger. We're finding our footing some in our library, and Juju is bringing back an old classic yesterday out of nowhere, Stugotz. The Magic Creative Content made an appearance.
Get out of here.
Out of nowhere.
Where's it been?
It's an excellent question. Juju, what can you tell me about the Wake and Take that's coming up?
Oh, man, I'm so excited for y'all to finally see it, man, because the fans showed so much love, the listeners of the show, they had so much positivity in this dark world, man. We can get so consumed with our daily struggles that they reminded me that, man, there's love everywhere out here, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to hearing it as well. Lucy and Jessica have arrived because they've got Pac-2 news. There is Pac-2 news to be discussed. What are you laughing about, Roy?
Pac-2.
Well, great. I mean, that's it's closer right now to Pac-2 than it is to Pac-12, correct?
So they're already in the championship game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't even have to play a season.
It's like the Pac-2 Mountain West combo, like a shipping and handling type of deal.
How do we feel about everything that's happening there?
So right now, or it happened this week, where Washington State and Oregon State, because everyone else left the Pac-12, they have pretty much complete control over the finances. So this year, they've basically been like, hey, you're leaving. We're not paying you any money. So they've been holding, I believe it's 15% of what the revenue is for the other schools that are still in the Pac-12 this year that will not be there next year. Like, well, too bad. Sorry, we left. We got to look out for ourselves. And now everyone's really upset because they won't give them money. But I think it's pretty funny, and I hope you keep doing your thing, Oregon State and Washington State. I'm proud of you.
I feel like the general sentiment is that everyone's like, it's funny if they block the payment from the 10 teams that are departing. Good for them. What if they just get like all the money from this year? That would be hilarious.
Then they use it for NIL. They win everything, and then they get to beat them in a bowl game. That's how I see this playing out. I'm a Washington State, Oregon State stan for life.
Except for in the Sun Bowl.
Except for in the Sun Bowl, of course. Well, Sam Hartman's not playing, so it kind of changes my
If I was Miami, I'd want to go to that. I'd be like, let me go out there. I'll dominate this conference.
Will they?
The Pac-2.
Oh, the Pac-3.
Depends what the score is in the fourth quarter, and then we'll see from there.
Whether or not they have to trust their coach to just kneel or not, we'll figure it all out together. I wanted to talk about some of the stuff happening here locally, Stugotz, because I do think that what happened on Monday night is one of those, no matter how much perspective you have about, you cannot hyperventilate about any one reaction.
Right.
One result, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins lose the game that way. And now there are a lot of numbers coming out on Tua doesn't do very well when pressured. Tua doesn't do very well when you make him play football for longer than 2.5 seconds.
Right.
And this is what Chris was giving voice to the other day when he said, out of nowhere. In fact, Chris said this after they beat Washington 45-15. I am worried about all the quarterbacks in the league who can do things after the 2.5 seconds. And you can play football 2.5 seconds at a time. Brady did it for 20 years. But the thing is, you got to be Brady.
Yes, right.
And so he's learned.
Well, Tua's done it, Dan. To his credit, he has done it for most of this season. I understand he did do it last game.
No, but yes, he has. But that was the most pressure he has faced. And in this league, you have to be able to play under pressure.
Yes.
You're going to get a lot of it in the postseason. It's not just being a great quarterback when it's easy. It's being a great quarterback when you're being sacked 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
And their center, Connor Williams, just has been ruled out for the year. And I'm going to say it. I'm now officially worried. Because I don't think, because of that 2.5 seconds thing, you need to have a good offensive line. And without Connor Williams and Armstead, the Dolphins have been a different team. So I'm putting the Dolphins are on notice that I'm worried.
All right, put it on the poll.
Wow.
Do we have any imaging?
Shit.
Do we have anything? This is unbelievable.
They lost a game.
But it's the injuries.
I understand that, but they lost a game. Tua is still a good quarterback. Tyreek Hill is still the MVP of the NFL. They still have Waddle. Their defense is intact. They're fine, man. They lost a game they should not have lost. But I promise you, they'll win a game they probably shouldn't win.
Thank you.
Okay?
You're promising him that?
It happens every year, Dan.
I would rather win the game I should have won than win the game I shouldn't have won. Does that make sense? Yeah, absolutely. Also, it wasn't just a loss. It was like a record-setting fourth quarter.
Well, thank you, Jessica.
Fluky, some could say.
Okay, but this is
I
where
fell asleep when it was 27-13, and I woke up as Will Levis was like going on the midfield to shake hands, and I saw the score, and I was like,
You fell asleep at the watch party?
yeah, I left. Lucy and I
okay.
had business to
all
attend
right,
to at
hold
halftime.
on, hold on a second.
Saving the
This is no. I want to talk about this now.
Uh-oh.
Now we're here.
Jesus.
Now we're here.
All right.
Because I made the mistake. I made the mistake of leading with Chris Cody's worry on the Dolphins when the better content fountain absolutely is the combination of Lucy experiencing our fans en masse for the first time, and something we have not talked about because we have not seen Jessica since it happened. The sheer radiance in Jessica that was concealed to all others, that a Dolphin watch party was falling apart that way on the screen after minutes earlier. Just what swept through that room was a joyous, everyone loves each other more than they ever have. And Jessica on the way home, I'm sure, is laughing to herself as, wow, that watch party really shit itself at the end of the night.
I'm not gonna lie. We left at halftime, long drive home, out from Doral. I was in bed by the time the game ended. Dozed off for like 20 minutes. When I woke up and I realized that like Billy and Lewis and Tony were still probably at the watch party, and Chris, and that they lost, man, cracked me the fuck up. That shit was funny.
It is, and we didn't talk about it at all. Lucy, we didn't talk about this at all. Lucy, you have to understand, I didn't even realize until she just told me this morning that she was getting hit with our fans that way for the first time. Like, it's not like going and finding them all over the country one at a time. It's all of them are bouncing, and they're very grateful for this thing we provide.
I did a classic Le Batard move here. I mean, everyone on the show has done this, where I was stuck in a conversation, and I needed anybody, to get me out of said conversation, and I dragged Lucy into that conversation with a guy who makes bats for a living.
Get used to that,
He's
Lucy.
sending me a bat.
I talked to that guy.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, put Smitty on it.
I love that guy.
An
That's my
Iowa
man.
bat. That's how I got you into the conversation and got myself out.
Salute to him.
Yeah, he sent me a bat as well. I didn't know who it was from, and I finally found out it was him.
He works for
Salute to
Louisville
that brother.
Slugger.
Yes,
What?
sir, absolutely.
Yeah.
That is correct. And Lucy, that's get used to the move. It is a Stugotz outsourcing affection. Stugotz outsourcing gratitude for our fans is something that you can pay for on Cameo, if you like, at whatever it is, $150 a pop.
He
Correct.
asked me if I wanted a bat, and I was like, well, I guess I can put it by the front door in case someone breaks in. I'll hit them with it. And he was like, okay. And I was like, so yes. Put my name on it. Maybe I'll smack someone and it'll say Smitty on their face in reverse.
How did that go for you, though, Lucy? How did all of that feel?
It was wonderful and also overwhelming. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I forget that people listen to this pretty much all the time. I just come in, I talk, and then people will tweet at me about things I said, and I say, you could hear that?
How'd you know I said that?
Wait, what?
When did I say that?
Most of the time, I'm like, I don't remember saying that. And then I'm like, oh, wait, that was Jess who said that. And they just confused the two of us. That happens all the time. But I was a little overwhelmed because no one's ever been that excited to see me, and it was really great. But I want to, convey my enthusiasm when I meet these people because I'm really grateful that they, are here and they want to support us. So my voice gets really high, and I'm so excited to see them. And by the end of the night, my face hurts. I'm
getting
doing a
emotional.
smile. I lost my voice. I got home and I was like, ugh. It was not. It was really special. It was a little overwhelming, but in a good way. So thank you, everyone.
I would say because of the intimacy and the familiarity of the medium, and because they listen as much as they do, what ends up happening is that they feel like they know you a little bit, and we should be overwhelmingly grateful because it funds the entire company. It's the length they listen. It's not, you don't behave that way around people you're not meeting and feeling like you're meeting Disney characters. But I like the idea of the Disney character going into a back room, tearing off its mascot head and pulling out a heater because he's overwhelmed by it's too much love out there. I gotta gather myself. I didn't need this much love.
I love the fans, and I have a great time every time we meet. And the thing that has shocked me the most this past week, Willow is getting recognized at places now. I was at the farmer's market in Miami last weekend, and a guy who makes snow cones was like, "Is that Willow?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Does she want a doggy snow cone? It's chicken broth and ice." And I was like, "She sure does."
Well, this is the
She
thing.
got a free snow cone.
Wow.
Jessica, if Willow were wandering around there without you, they would not recognize Willow.
I don't believe you. I do not believe you. It happened yesterday too. Some guy walked. We were on a walk, and I had my hood up, and he saw Willow and goes, "Is that Willow?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "Awesome." And then he just kept walking.
But
He didn't look at me. He looked straight at the dog.
I'm with Dan on this, though. If Willow was left to his own devices, her own devices, my apologies.
That's a fine.
It is $2.
I'll take it.
If Willow was left to her own devices without you, I don't think anyone would recognize Willow. They would be unsure, Jess. I'm telling you. They would.
Disagree. Lucy agrees with me, which is that she disagrees with you.
You're part of Willow. Willow is part of you.
I think we got one of those, you have a booger in your nose situations with these guys, because I think they noticed Jessica first and it was like, oh, is that Willow? Hey, can I get a picture?
No, Willow has the Target eye patch, and she's very recognizable. Target dog thing, you know what I'm talking about. And they see her, and then they look up, and it's confirmation. They're like, oh, that girl's wearing a Notre Dame sweatshirt. That is Willow, I think.
How's Willow handling the fame?
Not well. She's a diva now. She demands chicken every hour on the hour.
She's anxious, is she not? Is she not anxious? I'm just realizing that my dog is anxious because he doesn't physically look anxious. Willow is anxious, an anxious dog?
No, she's a happy girl. A little overwhelmed, just like Lucy at the watch party, though.
Same thing.
But
It
also
happens.
laughed at the Dolphins.
I got to get back to this because we didn't talk about it nearly enough. We did not. I will attempt, Stugotz, to keep it together, to try to keep it together. I have been falling apart on and off the air for a while now, and I will try not to burden the audience with this. I remember I talked to Dan Patrick about this and his audience. He's another one who's got like the super loyal audience that expects his thing to feel like family, and he was really sick. Really sick, like on death's door sick for a long time, in a lot of pain, And he just told his audience, hey, I'm going to show up every day. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show up, and I'm sorry, some of these things aren't going to be as good as what it is that you want from me, but I'm going to do my best every day. And it was enough for his audience. But every day I'm dealing with something. Like I've got at present like 3 crises on my hand, company related.
But you come here, man.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You this time, thankfully, are not one of the 3 crises I'm dealing with.
Wow.
That's shocking.
Amazing.
But in the fights over money, this is a complicated media time, man. You don't have to know very much to know that Hollywood is shaking and crumbling. Media is in a scary place. And Stephen A. Smith is building his own thing outside of ESPN as an infomercial because even he doesn't feel safe. He's like, at ESPN, he is advertising for a company he's building off premises at ESPN. The merch store, for me, was the first thing that got me gone at ESPN. The idea that Disney had given something to my agent that was Disney's very proprietary about the characters. There was art. And so I had the ability to print art under the Disney umbrella. And it's the first thing that became complicated there. And then next thing you know, a bunch of things start happening and we're out the door. And that was something I was trying to do with my brother. All of that was something I was trying to do with my brother. And my brother saw, oh, shit, gold mine. Like gold mine. And then it became hard to run the merch store. And now the merch store is in the shape that it's in. But I tell you all of this only to set up the fact that when money is involved, things get really complicated. The fine bucket has been stolen. The money has been stolen, and Jessica got instant death and fine bucket, and there was nothing in it. So for the moment, the way I'm going to solve this, I don't think it's the fairest way. I don't have an arbiter, team of arbiters here to help me in every place that money is being fought over. I right now am ruling, waiting for the commissioner who rules with an iron fist to tell me what I'm supposed to do, and telling Jessica that right now there are $3 on here. You can come and have these $3, and the person who gets the next fine bucket will not be entitled to these $3. And now, because someone stole it, the next fine bucket is not going to have any money. Jessica is just going to keep getting all the fines, going to keep getting every single fine. All of this money is hers.
She's the fine bucket now?
No, I mean, she gets the money, and the fine bucket is going to remain empty. And the next person who gets the fine bucket, because somebody at the company literally stole, because that's something that happened, and I won't fire people. So that seems like a fireable offense.
I apologize, man.
Stealing money? Yeah, sure.
What's the most amount that's ever been taken in the fine bucket? Like $300, I remember.
No, there was a lot of money one time. There was like $500 one time.
I think I got it the first time, and it was, close to $500.
So we'll keep paying me until we get up to that
That's
threshold,
what
I think.
So you can
80-20 my way.
You can have this money here, and that's going to be the rule from now on.
100% your way.
I don't know if someone's going to steal the money on the days that you don't happen to be here, but this is yours for now.
They will.
Stugotz, you, and I don't know what this is about, I've overheard you in recent days.
Right.
You have not said it directly to me.
Congrats.
You have been annoyed by some of my college football takes.
No, I'm annoyed by your lack of interest in my college football takes. That's what I'm annoyed by because, well, Dan, let me just start from here. I'm annoyed with you in general about God Bless Football and whether or not me and Billy on Monday mornings can say stuff there and then say stuff on the main show because it's affecting our performance on the Monday show because you don't like it. I don't know what you want me to do. I only have so many takes, okay? That's all I have. I know you want me to have a few more here and there. I don't. I have what I have. I am what I am, okay? I have my takes. I use them on God Bless Football, and I want to use them here, but you won't let me. And so when I brought up,
I won't let you.
You dismiss it. You move on. I had a good idea.
But what happened?
I have 2 good ideas.
Okay, we can entertain both of those ideas, those good ideas.
Right.
What I was objecting to, and I think this is
Setting.
a fair objection, is you reheating and recycling your material and working it here
Right.
when you've already worked it elsewhere in our network. And while people can't listen to everything it is that we're making, I'd like your best stuff to be here.
Right.
See, Dan, you're living in the 90s when people used microwaves to reheat things.
Thank you.
Like, it's soggy, soft, crappy. No one wants something reheated out of a microwave. We have air fryers now, baby. That's what Stugotz does.
Yeah.
He does it on God Bless Football. He wants to bring it in here, put it in the air fryer, get it nice and crispy, and reheat it.
Thank
reheat
you, Chris.
it.
Right. Thank you.
Well, I don't want to reheat his reheats. I'd prefer he cook originally here. I'd like the organic Stugotz stuff.
This is like spaghetti sauce. It's
You're
better
at-
the next day.
You're acting like I'm prepared for God Bless Football on Monday. I just talk, and sometimes good ideas come out. That's what happens. And so I had one this past Monday, and I wanted to share it with you. I've shared it with everyone else. They love the idea.
Put it on the poll. Is spaghetti sauce better the next day at Le Batard Show?
No doubt.
But I do want to discuss this with you for a second. Now
right.
that we're airing company grievances out in front of everybody, I think we should do more of that, not less. I know Mike wants us to do less. I think Mike needs to go and gather himself. He's being made crazy by the number of explosions around here.
Love you, Mike. Sorry.
He is going crazy, man.
But I will get to whatever it is this new idea is. But are you telling me, because I'd like all fresh takes, I'd like you to have more takes. You saying I only have so many takes, I believe is not a word sentence I thought I'd ever hear from you. I thought you'd have takes
Right.
forever. I thought that's what Meadowlark was signing.
Well, they did. They signed a guy who has unlimited takes, but when I stumble upon a good take, most of them are bad. They're lousy. They're terrible. They make no sense. But this was actually a good take, and I tried to share it with you on Monday, and you rejected it because I said it 30 minutes before on God Bless Football.
Is the new one fresh, or is it also
Well, the old one was
reheated?
Playoff Portal.
But I didn't want to talk about that one. Is the new one?
But imagine Caleb Williams, right? Imagine Caleb Williams tells the committee, hey, before you vote on the playoff, before you guys decide, I'm going to Florida State. Imagine what a great idea, a special playoff portal. You like it? You don't want to discuss it.
Dan?
Here's the next idea, Dan. How about, since we're already here with college football, okay, and we're spending limitless amount of money, okay, unlimited amounts of money, okay, how about we do this? The winner of the college football playoff plays the winner of Florida State and Georgia, especially if it's Florida State. Someone put up a lot of money, let those two teams play 2 weeks later for the national championship. You like that idea? That's a fresh one.
All of them do these fake Stugotz better than Stugotz. The jabbing of the sausage fingers. All of you do an excellent pantomimed Stugotz.
Except
Flattered.
all of our fingers aren't the same size, though, so we can't really pull it off.
What if we do one better, Stu? Winner of the college football playoff plays the winner of the NFC South.
Oh, snap.
Wow, I like it.
All Stugotz has done is made a 16 playoff. That's
What do you mean?
Sure. You want to give me more playoff games? Sure.
Are
No
you
problem.
if Florida State beats Georgia, and let's say, I don't know, Alabama wins the national championship, and 2 weeks later, a booster puts up a ton of money for Florida State to play Alabama, all the kids are in, they're all making money. Are you telling me that wouldn't be the highest rated football game of the season?
And are you asking me, would people want more football? Yes. I mean, that's it. There was no one except for, all the broken bodies perhaps later in life that will have regret giving their body and selling
kids,
it for
they're
that
young.
kind of money. Yes, I would think that anyone listening to this would say to any of your ideas that involve give me more important football games. I think everyone will agree with that.
Well, thank you for listening. That's all I ask. I mean,
There was actually a big college football thing or college sports thing that happened yesterday, which is like a federal judge said that they were issuing a restraining order against the NCAA enforcing the second time transfer thing where, like, if you're a player who transfers the first time, you get to play right away, but if you're a player who transfers a second time, you have to like go through this waiver process that's like really confusing, and they're issuing a restraining order. So now for the next 14 days, I think, if you're in the portal, you can transfer and play immediately. So if this is something that like permanently goes away, which it seems like it will, you could have a player, Stugotz, they're going to be, say there's 4 different teams in the national championship, they could be on all 4 different teams playing quarterback someday.
Wow.
You got Arch Manning winning the national championship for Texas, and then he wins it for Bama, and then he wins it for Georgia, and then he wins it back at Texas or Oklahoma. I don't know. Just name a school. Who cares?
I love it.
In talking, Stugotz, I want you to imagine this, okay? When I'm sitting here telling you that there are all sorts of money-related issues that rise when you're starting a business and everybody wants to get money. Do you understand the sheer delight on my face? Now, this is all very bad for kids. Like, for kids, this is not a great situation to professionalize it quite this much without enough governance. But as soon as I don't want to lose sight of the history of what just happened here. As soon as the Pac-12's players during the pandemic threatened if they weren't paid, this happened like this.
Yep.
If they weren't paid, they would leave because they all saw the television money. That is now the Pac-2. And what has happened since then is the entire sport has collapsed. Like we were talking for years about maybe Northwestern will form a union. We'll get a union together and wait years in the courts to get the money.
What is this impression?
I'm talking about it was me 10 years ago pontificating as
Right.
moralizer. It's me. It's like, and one day the labor force will have good management in 10 years if they out-negotiate the NCAA with lawyers. Now it's just, no, baby, let's all go where it's making it rain. Let's all grab money. There are no rules. The coaches are getting trampled. It's insane because what's happened is the television money is being kept by the unjust institutions who share it, and all they're doing is robbing from the fans. Like, you want a quarterback? Let's go buy him. We don't care if we promise this quarterback a job, this student a job. You must love the chaos in that.
The rare limited fake of yourself.
I don't feel robbed. I'm happy.
Take my
I'm
money.
having a good time. Take my money happily.
That's correct, but that's it. I've got it right on what's happening, right? That everyone saw the money involved on television, and when they started to wreck a conference over it, just more money appeared. It's not like they got any of that money. It's just like they're now fighting over what's left of more money. That's crazy. That happened. It was supposed to happen in 100 years. It happened in 2. I do like Stugotz, the ability to come over to Lucy or Jessica. Sometimes it's less so Jessica now because she's been with us for a while, but introduce her to new show things that have happened, things that when we're at the watch party and people are coming over and they've been listening for 20 years and they're listening for 20 years, 3 hours a day, and they remember this thing you did in 2004. I like introducing from our library some of that stuff to newcomers here who are new to the show and don't know who Lombardo is or any of the old jokes from the past. But how would you explain, Stugotz, before we get to Juju, because you have handed off, this is like a family heirloom being passed down.
Mm-hmm.
You are the head of Wake and Take. This is a part of your heredity. You love Juju. You and Juju are very close.
Yes.
And you love the positivity of Juju, and you have entrusted him with this thing that means something to you. Wake and Take, for those of you who do not know, I would leave for an hour at the end of the show when we did it in the afternoons in Miami, and Stugotz, in that hour, left to his own devices, did it in the laziest way possible, demanding that the audience do the job for him, which is the opposite of what I did when I got into sports radio, a profession I chose because I was writing, and it hurt, and it was lonely, and then I listened to radio, and they were outsourcing the calls to Julio on a mobile, and the host was telling the guy in a car driving to work, "You do my job for me." And I'm like, I can do better than that with what's left of my career.
I remember thinking to myself early on, you nailed it, Dan. I do remember
it's a perfect sentence not to nail when I'm struggling with what's left of my career.
Mm-hmm. I would say to myself, man, this guy likes to talk. I got into this industry so the people could do the talking for me, and you really like to talk. And then we stopped taking calls, and it was really upsetting. I mean, my way is the easier way.
And probably the better way, truth be told, given how much I'm talking these days.
Yeah.
And slowly ruining, as I said, what is the career.
Mm-hmm.
But Wake and Take, what does it mean to you that you are handing over here to Juju?
I am proud to hand this over to Juju. In fact, I would like to hand more things over to Juju. I'm thinking about Stugotz. I'm thinking about Podity. How about that? I mean, I'll never have to work again.
Okay, but
wow.
Juju's got a lot of responsibilities these days.
Yeah.
Juju, I don't know how...
This is perfect for Juju to take over, okay? Wake and Take is a perfect segment. He likes to talk to the people. I like to talk to the people. We don't talk to them nearly enough. No one is better and nicer with our listeners than Juju. And so, therefore, this segment is perfect for him.
All right, I guess then we're going to do this here. I wasn't expecting to do this here, but for a couple of days, I've been wanting to talk to Juju on and off air about something, Stugotz, that I believe that people don't consider when they don't think about after Kevin Love tells you, I had panic attacks on the basketball court and I'd have to run off the court because you got to take care of your mental health. You have to take care of your mental health. The story of Juju with our show is one that gives me great pride for a lot of reasons, but mostly because we care about him, because he cares about us, because we don't have a more loyal soldier. And he has tattoos of the Codys on his body because they saved his life, because laughter saved his life, because he felt pretty worthless and he was in a despondent place. And he loved us from there because we reached him through laughter, and Greg Cody was his favorite. And during the pandemic, when it was lonely for a lot of us and difficult. And this was interesting because when you guys were talking about this yesterday, about the pandemic, what you remember, what restaurant you were in and stuff, what I remember is just that it was all collapsing. It felt like everything that we had built, because I couldn't get a microphone from ESPN, and Juju kind of needed a job, and we needed to start figuring out what our business was going to look like. And Mike just sort of knew that I would want because Mike tries to take care of me in this, and he just knew that I would want Juju working with us, for us, around us. And so we gave him a social media job. And it helped him during the pandemic because everybody was isolated, and that doesn't work for Juju. And Juju, I don't mean to speak for you here. Forgive me for setting it up with rambling. But I just want to explain to people why Juju is being handed Wake and Take at a time where Juju is rising in the company. We just talked to him recently about making sure that he's comfortable and safe in a lot of different ways. But I don't want to give him too many responsibilities because the amount he's got right now, totally overwhelming. It's not just totally overwhelming. He gets no days off. He's working day and night, and he gets the gratitude of our fans. But what he also gets in that toxic pit that is social media is the worst of the anonymous racism. And that's where he lives every day, making art for us, like cooking for us. That's where he lives. And so I worry about his mental health. And I want to make sure that the responsibilities we're giving him are ones that he enjoys and are good for him. So forgive me for the ramble, but Juju, did I get much wrong there?
Nah, you're exactly right, brother. Like, this show helped me in a dark time. I was sleeping outside, you know what I mean, behind Gladys Knight Chicken and Waffles in Atlanta. And I didn't have anything but a phone, and I had an app. And I was like, oh, damn, you can watch TV on ESPN. You can watch shows. And I happened to catch a Greg Cody Tuesday, and he was believing in the newspaper articles so much. And I was like, this is ridiculous. This is a dinosaur thing. And I was like, you know what? If he believes in these old-ass newspapers, let me get up and do something, bro. I can do a little something today. Let me buy me a Coke or a Miller Lite today, you feel me? Or let me get myself up and at him. And he inspired a change within myself, and I will always be grateful for him for that.
So that's what Juju's doing with Wake and Take, and Juju is just, let's name him General Caretaker, because I'm tired of org charts. And I'm not joking when I tell you that Mike Ryan refused the org chart. He demanded to be, I'm not making this up. Title Riz reports to no one, and title is maker of cool shit. And Juju is that, and I want him to replace Mike. Because Juju's positivity.
All of Mike's responsibilities?
Not all of them, but just
the positivity.
I mean, I'd like less intensity around here and more laughter.
Mike's intense, though. I mean,
talking to guests and doing the best he can. But when it's time for creepy and no one understands, why like Dan the Rambling Man?
All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Stugotz.
Yes.
How did you feel? Because you were not in here yesterday, and God Bless Football does not come out until tomorrow. So I want to get thoughts fresh before.
Original ones, huh?
I want to make God Bless Football sound dated tomorrow if you're talking about Cam Newton and game managers. When Cam Newton came out yesterday, this was interesting only because this is a conversation that everyone is having right now.
Mm-hmm.
But Cam Newton's opinion is the invalid one, even though we've still got Dan Orlovsky on television, who's excellent, by the way. But as a quarterback, what their credentials were on what it takes to be quarterback, I would say that Cam Newton had some gifts that Dan Orlovsky did not. Dan Orlovsky is allowed to analyze this in a way that gives his opinion without getting shouted down. Cam Newton does it his way, wearing a ridiculous hat, and we laugh at him.
He won a national championship. He won a Heisman Trophy. He went to the Super Bowl and won NFL MVP. He's the only quarterback in the history of football to do that.
Cam Newton could not play the game until he was 45 because he was right at the start of the revolution at the position. You're going to run, you're going to be Lamar Jackson, but you're going to do it in a giant body. And hey, guess what? Early 30s, you're totally done. Why is that? Oh, football's hard. What are you, an idiot?
It hurts.
Like, Cam, we basically aged Cam. I'm going to say Cam is walking around in all of those costumes, at least in part because his body is 747,000 years old. What do you think playing football the way he played it, where linebackers were afraid to collide with him? What do you imagine that does to him? What it did is spend an MVP's body so that by the end he didn't have anything. Even Belichick couldn't do anything with it. Like, there was nothing to be done because he wrecked his body. He gives these opinions that Tua's a game manager, all these people are game managers, and you say what?
They are game managers, and it's okay to be a game manager, but people are discussing why that's an insult. And it's fairly obvious as to why being a game manager, the term, is an insult. Would you rather be let's make it a supermarket, Dan. Would you rather be the manager of the supermarket, or would you rather be the president of the supermarket? You'd rather be you'd rather be a game changer. You'd rather be the president. You don't want to be the game manager that says, "Hey, Johnny, you know what? You stock the paper towels very well. Go to aisle 4. You don't want to do that. You want to come in there, it doesn't matter who your staff is, doesn't matter who's working for you. You're the reason that company, that team is good. And so when you call someone a game manager, you're calling them a manager. Like imagine your parents, okay? When they tell their friends, hey, my son, he's a manager at the local pharmacy. Now imagine if they were to tell their friends, hey, he owns the pharmacy. He's the president of the pharmacy.
Is your take here that
you want to be the president of a football game. You don't want to manage a game, okay? It's a total insult.
Stugotz.
These guys are not Joe Burrow. They are not Josh Allen. Those guys are bosses. They are not managers.
We did not need you to repeat several times.
Well, you have to do it, Dan. Hammer home the point.
You did not need to repeat several times that being the president is higher in the hierarchy than being the manager.
Right.
At a supermarket.
I got
Well,
it.
it's important.
We got it. Okay, okay, but it's also obvious. We got it.
Right.
It is also an insult to say of the game manager, which is what you're saying, he is not responsible for his or anybody's success. We just need him to basically hold the rudder, not do anything else. You're saying things that are so. What isn't quite as so is that he is dismissing Purdy and Dak Prescott, MVP candidates, as game managers.
What he is saying is everything has to be right in order for those guys to succeed, unlike Josh Allen, where it doesn't matter if an offensive lineman is down. It doesn't matter if he's missing a wide receiver. He's going to come in and do what he has to do and win a football game. That's all they're saying. That's all Cam is saying, and I agree. That's what Cam did.
But we're having a dumb argument at the center of none of us know how and why any of these people are good. Brock Purdy, nobody wanted him. Tom Brady, nobody wanted him. The dumb conversation that we're having, it's not Cam Newton's fault. We're going to be having it for 5 to 10 years. The game is shrinking so that the best coaches are your value because they can scheme you up. The best coaches can scheme you past whoever it is can't do this stuff with motion and get everybody speed all over the field. So if you're going to do it like that, if McDaniel and Shanahan are making it so that quarterback doesn't have to be that good, do you realize how valuable they then are? And we're going to have this conversation in a salary crap sport about all of the quarterbacks.
It makes them the most valuable.
Okay, but they can beat Josh Allen because he runs around, but he turns it over. They can beat what's happening is a shift in the entire sport that's going to make the measurements of this even harder because we don't know with any of these guys. Purdy's going to win MVP. We're game manager. Alex Smith was never going to win any MVP. Like, we're there already. It's crazy that we're there already.